Navigating the world of general contractors can be tricky, especially when starting. There are unscrupulous individuals out there, and learning from others' experiences is invaluable. Here are some stories and lessons to help you avoid common pitfalls. Firstly, there's the story of John and the vanishing contractor. John, a new homeowner, hired Mike to remodel his kitchen. Mike promised an immediate start, but weeks passed without any progress. Despite repeated calls, John only received false promises and excuses. Ultimately, John discovered that Mike had taken the deposit and disappeared completely. The lessons learned here are crucial. Firstly, always get a written contract that includes a clear timeline and payment schedule. Secondly, check the contractor's references thoroughly. Thirdly, avoid contractors who ask for large upfront payments. A legitimate contractor will typically have a payment schedule tied to specific milestones in the project. Secondly, consider the tale of Sarah and the shoddy workman. Sarah hired Tom for a bathroom renovation because his bid was the lowest. Tom promised excellent work, but the reality was far from it. The tiles were uneven, the paint was poorly applied, and the shower leaked. Sarah refused to pay the remaining balance and had to hire another contractor to correct Tom's mistakes. The lessons from this experience are equally important. Firstly, do not always go for the lowest bid. Price should not be the sole determining factor. Secondly, look at examples of the contractor's previous work to assess their skill and quality. Thirdly, get a warranty or guarantee for the workmanship. This provides recourse if issues arise after the project is completed. Thirdly, examine the case of Tim and the unfinished project. Tim hired Dave to build an addition to his home. The project was slated for 6 months but stretched out for over a year. Dave consistently promised completion but kept providing excuses for the delays. Eventually, Tim fired Dave and had to finish the project himself. The lessons learned from Tim's experience are as follows. Firstly, set clear deadlines and hold the contractor accountable for meeting them. Secondly, do not give large payments for unfinished work. Payments should align with completed milestones. Thirdly, monitor the project regularly and communicate any concerns promptly. Address issues as they arise to prevent them from escalating. Fourthly, there is the story of Mary and the licensing and insurance scam. Mary hired Frank to install new windows. Frank claimed to be licensed and insured, but Mary later discovered that his license had expired. When the windows leaked during a storm, Mary tried to file an insurance claim only to find out that Frank's insurance policy had lapsed. The lessons from this story are vital. Firstly, always verify the contractor's license and insurance before hiring them. Secondly, request copies of the certificates and check their validity with the relevant authorities. Thirdly, be wary of contractors who offer unusually low prices or pressure you to sign a contract without thoroughly reviewing it. A legitimate contractor will be transparent and willing to answer questions. In addition to these specific stories, several general principles can help you avoid unscrupulous contractors. Firstly, do your research. Obtain multiple bids from different contractors and compare them carefully. Look beyond the price and consider the contractor's experience, reputation, and qualifications. Secondly, check online reviews and ratings. Websites like the Better Business Bureau and Yelp can provide valuable insights into a contractor's track record. Thirdly, ask for references from past clients and contact them to inquire about their experiences. A reputable contractor will be happy to provide references. Fourthly, insist on a written contract. The contract should clearly outline the scope of work, the timeline, a payment schedule, and any warranties or guarantees. Review the contract carefully before signing it and ensure that you understand all of the terms and conditions. Fifthly, be wary of contractors who ask for a large upfront payment. A reasonable down payment is acceptable, but avoid contractors who demand a significant portion of the total cost upfront. Sixthly, get all change orders in writing. If changes are made to the original scope of work, document them in writing and have both parties sign the change order. This will prevent disputes later on. Seventhly, maintain open communication with the contractor throughout the project. Regularly check on the progress of the work and address any concerns promptly. Eighthly, Do not be afraid to ask questions. A reputable contractor will be happy to answer your questions and address your concerns. Ninthly, keep a record of all payments made to the contractor. This will be helpful if any disputes arise. Tenthly, consider using an escrow service to hold funds until the project is completed to your satisfaction. This can provide an extra layer of protection. 11thly, check the contractor's bond. A bond provides financial protection if the contractor fails to complete the project or perform substandard work. 12thly, understand the lien laws in area. A mechanic's lien is a legal claim against property for unpaid debts related to construction work. 13thly, document everything. Take photos and videos of the project's progress. Keep copies of all contracts, change orders, invoices, and communications with the contractor. 14thly, trust your instincts. If something feels off, do not hesitate to walk away. It is better to be cautious than to get involved with an unscrupulous contractor. 15thly, consult with an attorney. If you are unsure about anything, consult with an attorney who specializes in construction law. They can review contracts, advise you on your rights, and represent you in any disputes. 16thly, be aware of common red flags. These include contractors who are not licensed or insured, those who offer unusually low prices, those who pressure you to sign a contract without reviewing it, and those who are unwilling to provide references. 17thly, check with your local building department. They can provide information on building codes and regulations, as well as any complaints filed against contractors in the area. 18thly, consider using a project management software. This can help you track the progress of the project, manage payments, and communicate with the contractor. 19thly, be prepared to negotiate. Do not be afraid to negotiate the price, the timeline, or any other terms of the contract. 20thly, understand your rights. Know your rights as a homeowner and do not be afraid to assert them. 21st, be patient. Home renovation projects can be stressful and time-consuming. Be prepared for delays and challenges. 22nd, be realistic about your budget. Unexpected costs can arise during a renovation project. Be prepared to adjust your budget if necessary. 23rd, be flexible. Be willing to make compromises and adjustments as needed. 24th, be organized. Keep all of your documents and information in one place. 25th, be proactive. Take an active role in the project and communicate your concerns to the contractor. 26th, be respectful. Treat the contractor and their workers with respect. 27th, be appreciative. Show your appreciation for the contractor's work. 28th, be understanding. Understand that mistakes can happen and be willing to work with the contractor to resolve them. 29th, be fair. Be fair to the contractor and yourself. 30th, be reasonable. Be reasonable in your expectations. 31st, be communicative. Communicate your needs and expectations clearly. 32nd, be responsive. Respond to the contractor's inquiries promptly. 33rd, be collaborative. Work collaboratively with the contractor to achieve your goals. 34th, be positive. Maintain a positive attitude throughout the project. 35th, be persistent. Do not give up if you encounter challenges. 36th, be resourceful. Use all available resources to help you succeed. 37th, be diligent. Pay attention to detail and do your homework. 38th, be informed. Stay informed about the latest trends and best practices in the industry. 39th, be adaptable. Be willing to adapt to changing circumstances. 40th, be strategic. Plan your project carefully and develop a strategy for success. 41st, be decisive. Make decisions promptly and confidently. 42nd, be proactive. Take initiative and anticipate potential problems. 43rd, be creative. Be open to new ideas and innovative solutions. 44th, be analytical. Analyze the situation carefully before making decisions. 45th, be practical. Be realistic about what can be achieved. 46th, be ethical. Conduct yourself with integrity and honesty. 47th, be professional. Maintain a professional demeanor at all times. 48th, be courteous. Treat everyone with respect and courtesy. 49th, be helpful. Offer assistance to others whenever possible. 50th, be reliable. Be dependable and trustworthy. 51st, be responsible. Take responsibility for your actions. 52nd, be accountable. Hold yourself accountable for your results. 53rd, be committed. Be committed to achieving your goals. 54th, be dedicated. Be dedicated to your work. 55th, be enthusiastic. Approach your work with enthusiasm and passion. 56th, be motivated. Stay motivated and focused on your goals. 57th, be ambitious. Set ambitious goals and strive to achieve them. 58th, be persistent. Never give up on your dreams. 59th, be resilient. Bounce back from setbacks and learn from your mistakes. 60th, be optimistic. Maintain a positive outlook and believe in your ability to succeed. By following these guidelines, protect from unscrupulous contractors and ensure a successful home renovation project.